Hello there. I'm going to talk to you today about the elements of fiction. It is point of view. Now, point of view has to do with the point of view of the person telling the story. We call this our narrator. So, our point of views would be first person, second person, third person point of view. And then there are multiple types of third person point of view. So your instructions for this is to watch the video, read and work each slide, follow all of the directions, learn the parts of point of view, mark the point of view words, and then turn into Canvas for a grade. Now, point of view. Who's telling the story? Why does it matter? Well, point of view is the perspective from which a piece is written. I've already talked about the three types, first, second, and third. The first person point of view uses the pronouns I, we, me. It's told from the viewpoint of one of the characters. So if you're telling a story, then you would write it in first person. We call this first person narrative. So an example of this, the anticipation was killing me. I couldn't wait to see my best friend. After all, it had been almost 2 years since we last saw each other. I miss Natalie so much. So you will use the circles below to find the point of view being taught on this slide. So I want you to use these circles to mark the point of view. So it's first person. The anticipation was killing me. So I'm going to put this one here. And I'm going to make it a little smaller. I couldn't wait. So I'm going to put another one here. I couldn't wait to see my best friend. So you're going to do this for these assignments. Move the circles over and show the examples being taught on each slide. And then you're going to move on to this for first person. Write a short narrative from the picture from the first person point of view. You'll start typing here. And you're going to write it from the point of view of one of the characters. So you would start off with, it was a sunny, bright day at my elementary school. And then so on and so on. So just write a few sentences for each picture. Make sure you're using first person point of view like I, me, we. Second person point of view uses the pronouns you and your. Now this is the least used point of view. Their narrator is speaking directly to the reader the way I am speaking to you right now. Right now I am teaching this lesson in second person point of view because second person is mostly about a how-to or a directional. So an example would be you take fresh cut fruit and place it in a baking dish. In a separate bowl, you will mix 1 cup milk, 1 cup flour, and 1 cup sugar. Mix together and then pour it over the fruit. Bake at 350 degrees until the top is brown and bubbly. So again, mark the words that makes this second person point of view. And then you're going to choose a favorite sport or hobby and write a how-to paragraph using second person point of view. My favorite sport or hobby is kayaking or whatever you choose. And then you would give the directions. First, for kayaking, you want to make sure you have a sturdy kayak, a paddle, and a very reliable life jacket. Next, you need a way to carry your kayak to a lake or river or body of water. You will also need to look at the weather and pay attention to your map. So I'm going to stop there, but that's what you would write. Just write a real quick example of second person point of view. Third person limited is where it gets a little trickier. On third person limited, you are kind of getting into the head of one character. It's called limited because the narrator only knows the thoughts and feelings of one character. Example, Alex loved playing football, but he wasn't sure if it was the best thing at the time. His knee was just getting better and his classes were really tough this semester. He thought he could do it, but he just wasn't sure. He wasn't sure what his mom would think either. He wasn't even sure she would let him play. So you're going to take these and find he wasn't sure if it was the best thing. So that's an example. So there's a lot through here, but really the only person's thoughts we know throughout this would be Alex's thoughts. Then we have what's third person omniscient. Third person omniscient would be narrator. The narrator is all-knowing and knows the thoughts and feelings of all characters. An example would be Sarah and Elizabeth were best friends. They both loved each other like a sister, and they always did everything together. So they both loved each other like a sister would be an example of knowing both of the characters' thoughts. And then they always did everything together. So they both loved each other like a sister. Sarah's mom also treated Elizabeth like her own. So that would be Sarah's mom's thoughts. So all of that could be. And then so on and so on. So you're just going to go through each of these slides and do what it is asking you to do. And then we have third person objective. And this one is where the narrator is observer. And the narrator does not know the thoughts and feelings of the characters. An example of this. So here's the thing. When you're listening to news, it's third person objective. It's sort of like somebody's telling about an accident or somebody's telling about the bank robbery. The person telling the story is just giving you details. They don't know why the bank robber robbed the bank. They don't know how the person felt who was robbed. They don't know any thoughts or feelings of any of the characters. They're telling the story from an objective point of view. So they're just an observer. They do not know the thoughts and feelings. Luke trudged through the woods in search of the perfect spot. He was looking to build a fort and wanted the perfect place for it. Timmy was coming over later to help, and Luke wanted to have it all ready. So this is just one person observing the character's actions. And now they want you to write a short narrative for the picture from a third person point of view. It can be any type. So you're going to say third person point of view, and you're going to tell me whether you are choosing third person limited, omniscient, or objective. And then you're going to write it from that point of view. On these, you will read each paragraph below, determine what point of view the paragraph is written in, and move the piece to the space. Ashley was super excited about today. It was her birthday. She had been looking forward to it all week. So we know that this is written in third person because it's he, she, they. So it's using those pronouns. And we don't know anybody's thoughts and feelings but Ashley's. Therefore, it's limited to third limited. So that's how you will work those. Read each one, move it over to the correct spot. Same thing for this one. Read the short read the short text and decide whether it's first person, second person, third person objective, third person limited, or third person omniscient. Now, read this information of why does it matter, because it really does matter. You may never have thought about it, but who's telling the story matters. The narrator of the story has control over how a story is told. If, for example, if your teacher were going to write an essay about how video games impacts children, I would have a lot to say. It probably wouldn't be all positive. If you were going to write an essay about how video games impact children, you might have more positive things to say. As you can see, the person telling the story matters because it's difficult to not let your own personal opinions and feelings get in the way. As a narrator tells a story, their passion about a subject is going to shine through and be seen. So when you read a piece of writing, or you watch a video or a short, like a YouTube video or something, it's really important to know the narrator's background and their point of view, because their personal points of view will get in the way of how the story is told and how it's landed. So use the details from the text and narrative technique. Retell the... So on this one, you're supposed to read the story about one. Sorry, I skipped this one, but read the story about 1, and then you're going to answer the question that follows. So after you read the story, using the details from the text and narrative technique, retell the visit to the country from Dion's point of view. So you're going to tell it from Dion's point of view. So it's told from one's point of view, I believe, and you're going to tell it from Dion's point of view and change up the story a little bit. How can the point of view in which a story is written influence the way a story is told? Type that here. And then how can the narrator influence the way a story is told? Type that here. And once you're finished, you will turn this in. Thank you.